Hello and welcome to the People Chronicles Storied Women. My name is Anna Rose Ingara Milch and I am your host. I am also the author of Lunch with Lucille. Lunch with Lucille is a story of how one woman's life impacted another woman. And so here on Storied Women, we bring women from our community to share their story so that we can learn from them as well. And today, good morning. And today my guest is Stacey Taylor. Good morning, Stacey.
Good morning.
I'm going to let you introduce yourself,
Okay.
and then I'm going to ask you that magic question. So first up, just tell us a little bit of who is Stacey Taylor.
Okay. My name is Stacey Taylor. I am the president of the local branch NAACP. I am also a commissioner for the Reading Human Relations Commission. I'm a mother of three. I'm a servant of the community. I'm here to help and assist wherever possible.
And I know you do. You're a recent graduate of.
Yes, I'm a recent graduate of the Leadership Berks program from Alvernia. We will actually be walking on June the 14th to receive our certificates. So yes, I'm pretty excited about that.
That is exciting. That's really, and because I know that you were working on that a very community-focused project of the 18th in the 18th ward for the 18th wonder.
Yes, that was my service learning project, part of the requirement of the course. So yes, I was excited to work with that group and community to come up with a plan, a strategic business plan for the next couple of years on how to revitalize and grow the business community in the 18th ward.
It's exciting. It's very exciting. Okay, so here's the question.
Okay.
What's the one thing that you want us to remember from the chat? What's today's takeaway?
Today's takeaway is that I'm committed and dedicated to my community, wanting to share whatever experiences and knowledge that I gain along this journey in life with others to help improve their lives where at all possible. So that's what I hope people can take away from this conversation.
So how do you get involved in that? I mean,
Well, my family has always been service oriented. My grandfather used to own a rubbish removal business in the community along with his brother. So in that capacity, yes, it was a service business, but they were also giving back. They helped to build my church home, that of which I attend is the St. John Missionary Baptist Church. Laying the brick mortar foundation. They were part of that process.
You mean they actually built?
Oh yes, they actually built the building.
So what year are we talking?
I think we'll be 75 years old next year.
Oh wow.
So yes, my family was a part of that. But then just with the works that they do within the community, my grandmother was always giving back. And so my aunts and my uncles, my mother, they're a part of other organizations within our church. And within the community, there's the CARE program. I don't know what the acronym actually stands for, but my aunt works with Bishop Robert Brookins through Holy Trinity. That's on Buttonwood Street. Yes. They have a CARE program that works with the youth, and they help to provide them with, camping assistance during the summer, like a summer camp for the kids. I think it's centered around, keeping them away from drugs and just educating them on the aspects of what could actually happen. Then my mother, she's a part of the Pennsylvania Baptist State Convention, the women's organization. She works with the women in that group along with a project of theirs, which is called Camp Central. Camp Central is a piece of land that's owned by the Pennsylvania State Convention that's up towards Fredericksville, I believe. And she works on that endeavor to raise money for the camp so that kids can go to camp during the summer, and they provide them with, with housing and things. Give them an opportunity to be outside and exposed to, something outside of the urban environment. And so because of that and the things that they do with these different organizations, it was only natural for me to somehow get involved. And a friend from our church, Elaine Robinson, she kept at me for years. She's like, Stacey, I need for you to come to the NAACP. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then my aunt, Rosalind George, who passed away, she used to work for Mercy Community Pregnancy Center. She too was at me about doing some type of volunteer work. And I'm like, why are they at me about doing volunteer? So I'm like, okay. I mean, it's not like I hadn't. I've taken my kids to the shelters and we fed, people that needed meals at Thanksgiving time, Christmas
So
time.
it's situational type of things.
Right.
Yeah.
So things like that, but not where I was so involved in giving back and trying to help. So because of those two women, every year I host a table at the Rosalind George's Ladies Tea for Mercy. Again, to help raise money for that organization and what they're about. They're a faith-based organization to help not just women but men also, families. They don't want to say necessarily in crisis situations, but pregnancy sometimes can be a surprise for a lot. Becoming a parent unexpectedly because of a certain event that has happened. So they help those families to not only administer the Word of God to them, but also to help them with their needs, supplying Pampers, formula, and what have you. But just to give them a good support system. So I do that every year. And then with regards to the NAACP, it started off more of just being a behind-the-scenes person, getting involved with their Freedom Fund Gala, which is their largest fundraising event for the year. I've never been one to be in the front of whatever it is that I'm involved in. I always want to be behind the scenes, so to speak. So that's how I got involved with the NAACP. And then from there, I just kind of like progressed as far as my membership was concerned with my involvement. And now today, this is going on my 4th year. I'll be the president. So
that's wonderful.
Here we are.
That's wonderful. Yes. That's wonderful. So what I hear you saying, and I think what's really important, is that you come from a long line of people who are fully engaged in their community. Mm-hmm. And so you have watched them.
Yes.
And you have watched them take care of their neighbors. Mm-hmm. And therefore you have done the same.
Yes. Yeah. I've tried to. That's what I hope that people take away from anytime that I'm involved with something, is that she's willing to give back. She wants to give back. She wants to help. I think it's so important. It's necessary because if we're going to live here, we might as well help one another. Yeah, it makes life a lot easier.
It sure does. Yeah. I think that's a good point that you make. If we're going to live here and we're going to live together, we might as well be working on this together. Otherwise, when we separate or when we don't even recognize the needs of our neighbors, then what is it all about? I mean, are we blind? I mean, if you can't see it, right. And there's so many different ways you can help. Like you have just rattled off a whole list of different ways that you are so fully engaged in the community. I mean, there's just so many things that we can do, Mm-hmm. So tell me what you do in the Human Relations Commission.
The Human Relations Commission, I'm a new commissioner, newly appointed. We hear information with regards to the concerns of people in the community. They could be job-related concerns, discrimination, just complaints, workers' comp, what have you. Then housing issues where there's some tenant-landlord disagreements. We listen to things about that. But mainly the component that we deal with is educating people to understand what their rights are as a renter for rental property, understanding what their rights are as far as an employee for an employer, should you wish to file a disagreement or complaint with your employer. So that's what we mainly do. We hear the complaints from the citizens in the community with regards to housing and employment.
So do you go around to the community and share the information, or do the people come to you?
The people mainly come into the office. We have a director, Kim Talbot. Kim goes in the community and she provides the training workshops. So as a commissioner, we basically just hear the complaints when she brings them back. Mm-hmm. People are able to walk into the office at 8th and Washington. They're able to go into the office at City Hall and file their complaints, and or just maybe sit down and have a conversation with her if they believe that they may have been somehow been discriminated against, and or whether or not something has occurred that they're unsure about. So she'll help them with that. She also helps with water issues with the Reading Water Authority. She works with that component as well. So we kind of like help people in a lot of different areas, but just mainly sit down, have a conversation, find out what's going on, and then try to figure out what's the best way. What can we do? And then if there are any laws, anything that may have been broken that we need to, discuss and say, well, we believe that this is, has occurred or what have you, and then they take it from there.
Yeah. Helping people seems to be at your core.
Yeah, I think that's my calling.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. The extent that you do it, I think it really sounds like a calling. Yeah, maybe we get you a little nun's hat.
I don't know about a nun's hat. But
But it really is. I mean, I think it's really important, and what you do, and I think that, of the little that I know of you, is that you model your life, and you just do, and that's a great way, I think, to model for, especially for the generations behind us, laterally as well. I mean, for other women and other men, but also though for the generations that come behind us. This is how we do it. This is how it's done. Right. I think it's really very important, and I know you have a big weekend coming up in June.
Yes, we do. We have Juneteenth coming up. That's our celebration of the Juneteenth holiday.
Explain to us what the Juneteenth holiday is, because I didn't know until you told me about it.
Okay. Don't quote me on the dates.
Okay.
But I believe it was in 1865, 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed. Texas was the last state in the Union to find out that slaves were free.
So they just didn't get the memo.
Somehow or another, they didn't get the memo. So once they found out, it was June 19th, actually, is the date that the holiday is celebrated. They decided that at that point we're going to recognize the fact that slaves are free, and we're going to celebrate the occasion. So within 48 states throughout the U.S., it is now a recognized holiday that is celebrated sometime during the course of the weekend or the week of June 19th. So for us here in Reading, this is not the first celebration. I've taken an opportunity to kind of merge the celebrated events that we've held with ACOR, which was a group organized with Ed Terrell, along with the Central Pennsylvania African American Museum, Mrs. Mildred Gilliard, her organization. We've kind of merged the two together, have tried to put together the highlights from each of those celebrations to come up with a weekend that we're actually doing. Friday night, which is June the 15th, we will be announcing, so to speak, Juneteenth to the community. And then we will be recognizing unsung heroes with a program at Bethel AME Church at 6 p.m. And then
that's a Friday night.
That's Friday night.
Okay.
Then Saturday morning at 8 a.m. we will be hosting, when I say we, I mean the NAACP will be hosting its first 5K run walk event.
I know, I'm going to do that.
Well, thank you very much.
But I'm walking.
Oh, that's fine.
No running allowed.
That's fine. It was something that I had on my bucket list. And one of the initiatives for the NAACP is a health component. And so I figured, hey, what better way than to have a 5K run walk?
That's a great idea.
Right. So last August, we started walking clubs, trying to get the word out to people to use the walking clubs as a way to prepare and train for the 5K run walk. Well, we weren't all that consistent, but we tried. So we did make an effort. So the walking clubs will begin again, hopefully this week once we get past the rain, and we'll be, like I said, working towards that goal of having the 5K. That'll be at 8 o'clock. That's on River Road down by Rack. Then at 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the lawns at the Burks Lodge, number 47, on 237 Walnut, we'll be hosting the family barbecue, and that's just people in the community coming out to a free event where we'll have food and entertainment, games for the kids, and of course that educational component. We have a few resource vendors: Alvernia College, Albright College, Penn State, Safe Berks, I believe, will be hosting a table. Teen Berks Matter will be hosting a table. So we have quite a few resource vendors that will be there sharing their information with the community. And then just hoping that people have a good time. Then Sunday we will close out the weekend celebration with church services at Zion Baptist Church on Washington Street. And so that will commence the celebration this year. I'm looking forward to an exciting event. I hope a lot of people such as yourself will come out not only for the 5K run, but and stay with us the entire day and just have a good time.
Yeah, that's my plan. I'm planning to stay with you the entire day.
All right, good.
Provided I'm still alive after the 5K run, I'll be fine.
We'll make sure you have plenty of nourishment. We'll take care of you.
I appreciate that. Stacey, I appreciate your coming, and really, I think what I'm hearing the takeaway is today is really driving home is that we all need to get involved in our community, especially, at any level. I mean, you and your family have been really admirable, like soldiers in the volunteering community. But we can all do it at whatever level that we want to do it, even if it's just coming out to walk for the Juneteenth celebration, which I will be there. So if you want to walk with me and hold me up, you are welcome to come.
Yes.
And I hope that you enjoyed today's session as I did with Stacey Taylor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.